I'm John, and this is Fallout Wasteland Warfare, Episode 2 of the Beast of the Bottling Plant campaign. Last episode, the raiders managed to siphon enough power away from the locals to power their bunker near the abandoned Nuka-Cola plant. Both the raiders and locals wanted to secure the blueprints to the plant, and the instructions on how to run the machinery. The mayor of the local settlement of Rocket Park has a copy of both, but she doesn't want to make enemies, and declares that whoever helps the town the most will get the documents. This leads us to today's scenario, Uncivil Service. Both the locals and the raiders have to complete 3 side quests given to them by the townsfolk. There is a ceasefire while inside the market, and completed tasks have to be turned in to the Protectron. The first side to complete 3 tasks wins. First, the engineer wants the industrial area cleared of dangers. Second, the farmers have asked for some pest control in the food storage area. Lastly, the Quartermaster wants some items recovered from around town. A medic is on hand in the market alongside the mayor's Protectron. Now to look at the 2 sides for this scenario. First up, the locals. Like last time, they are led by Piper, who is heroic, carries a 10mm pistol and a bottle of Nuka-Cola. She's hired the services of Nick Valentine. This synth-turned-detective is heroic and carries his .44 revolver with a comfort grip and rusty knuckles. Like before, Godfrey joins them, a Mr. Handy that uses the rules for Codsworth. A settler with a hunting rifle joins them. So do 2 scavengers, one armed with a pipe pistol, and one armed with a .44 revolver and a wounding machete. The raiders are led by the same veteran raider as before, heroic and wearing raider power armour, only now she has an assault rifle and a sledgehammer. She also has her attack dog with her. Her gang consists of a psycho armed with a tyre iron, a frag grenade, a stun grenade and a dose of psycho. A raider outlaw armed with a pipe pistol and a machete and a dose of fury. A scav with a pipe pistol and 2 raiders, also with pipe pistols. Deployment is simple. Everyone starts in the market square. Nobody is allowed to make any combat actions during the first turn, in addition to the ceasefire whilst inside the market. Turn 1 begins, and the locals have the advantage. I decide to go first as I want Godfrey to make a start in collecting engineer tokens. The Mr. Handy interacts with a token and a danger card is drawn. A glow in 1 corpse. A successful intelligence test gives the locals their first token. For the raiders, the raider veteran acts first. She follows Godfrey into the industrial area. Next I activate Nick Valentine. His VATS role means I can prepare. Nick moves south towards the food storage area. The nearest token reveals a migrating rad stag. Thankfully, Nick already has a prepare token to spare, meaning the locals have collected their first pest control token. The raider's dog moves next, catching up with the veteran. Similarly, one of the settlers follows Nick into the food storage area. The Raider Psycho is next, and she moves towards the searchable tokens. Bad luck, however, as the searchable causes a danger card to be drawn. A rotten meat bag leaves the Psycho stunned, but with a bottle of whiskey as compensation. The scavenger with a pipe pistol checks their own searchable token. Finds some spare Mr. Handy fuel. The raider Scaver moves and joins the Psycho. While the other Scavenger joins the first. The Raider Outlaw joins their boss in the industrial area. Piper prepares and goes north too. The last two raiders spread out south. With no combat allowed, turn 1 comes to an end pretty quickly. The locals are off to a good start, with 1 engineer and 1 pest control token. Turn 2 begins with an event card being drawn. A forest fire means everyone can only make 1 move action this turn. I activate Godfrey first again, and I attack the Raider Veteran using the Mr. Handy Flamer. The attack hits, but importantly I rolled a star on the blue die, meaning both the Raider Veteran and her dog are on fire. Unfortunately, both Raider and her dog save themselves from direct damage. I then move Godfrey away from the inevitable counterattack. Instead of immediately counterattacking, the Raiders instead activate the Scaver. They interact with a searchable token and are plagued by back problems. A failed strength test later, and they will be at -2 for any test they take next turn. I activate the Settler next, moving them into a bit of cover before firing at the nearest raider. However, the shot misses. The raider's dog is next and takes damage from the fire. However, the fire is soon put out. The dog charges Godfrey. This in turn triggers Piper, who is prepared. Piper makes a quick attack with her 10mm pistol, but misses. The dog bites the robot, but also misses. Piper next, and she moves towards the nearest marker, which turns out to be blank. The raider who was shot at moves closer to the settler before shooting at her with his pipe pistol. The shot hits, but the settler's bonus armour protects her this time. Nick Valentine moves up and uncovers 2 blank tokens, before taking a shot at the raider. The shot goes wide, however. The other raider moves towards the synth and checks the nearest token. A A wounded mutant hound needs help, but the raider can't move again this turn. Instead, he shoots at Nick, but misses. The scavenger with a machete moves into the woods and uncovers a searchable. He uses his expertise, but fails. I should have drawn a danger card here before taking the item and token, but I forgot and will correct it next turn. The Psycho uses her only move action to remove the stun, leaving her with nothing else she can do, as she cannot move again. The scavenger in white moves towards a raider and takes a shot, but he misses. The raider outlaw checks the token. And the danger card is a bad one, an unstable fusion core. The outlaw has to throw it like a grenade. He throws it towards Piper, but fumbles it, and it explodes in his hands. A poor armor roll from the outlaw means he takes 2 damage. And the veteran raider also takes 1 damage. At least the raiders now have an engineer token. Speaking of the raider veteran, she now takes 1 more point of damage from the fire, which goes out, but not before degrading her power armor. Enraged, the veteran charges at Piper and hits her with a sledgehammer. The attack hits true, and Piper takes 2 damage. This ends turn 2. The locals are still ahead, but the raiders have picked up an engineer token. Turn 3 begins and a new event card is drawn. Siren means that nobody can use the prepare action this turn. This turn I let the raiders activate first. The raider outlaw moves and tries to shoot into the combat between Piper and the raider veteran, but they miss. I activate Godfrey. I reveal the nearest investigation marker, which was blank. I then try to move away from the raider dog, which lets the dog attack me with a quick attack. The attack misses, but I still lose the bonus armor. I move and reveal 2 investigation markers, one of which is blank, and the other is medical waste. I take a point of damage after failing the endurance test, but I get a second engineer token. A raider charges Nick Valentine and attacks him with their improvised weapon. The attack hits, but Nick's armor saves him. Nick repairs and then tries to disengage from combat. The raider makes his quick attack, which hits. But again, Nick's arm saves him. I then move Nick twice north. The Raider Psycho moves towards a searchable token. They use expertise, which fails. The danger card, Doubts, doesn't really affect the raiders as they outnumber the locals. The Psycho now gains a hand nail gun, and the raiders gain 1 Quartermaster token. I activate the scavenger with the machete. Last turn I failed an expertise roll. I should have then drawn a danger card and then taken the Quartermaster token. As I didn't, I'll use this turn to do that now. The danger card means I have to draw a creature card, which turns out to be a digging dog. After winning an opposed search test, I pick up a tire iron, and the locals have a Quartermaster token. Using their pipe pistol, a raider shoots at the settler, but they miss. I activate the other scavenger and move them towards the food storage area. I draw a creature card and narrowly avoid being attacked by a mole rat. This then gives the locals their second pest control token. The raider dog charges Godfrey and attacks. Despite the hit, Godfrey takes no damage, but does lose his last bonus armour. Piper disengages from combat. The raider veteran's quick attack misses, and Piper is able to escape. She reveals a searchable token. A live wire means Piper has to pass an agility test, which she does. She then finds a protector's right arm guard. The raider Scaver moves towards the settler and fires with his pipe pistol. But misses. The settler in turn decides to reveal tokens, the first being blank. The second reveals a passive blood bug. Thankfully they passed their endurance test. This also means that the locals now have all 3 pest control tokens. If either the scavenger, settler, or Nick Valentine can reach the mayor, they can turn in the mission. And to end the turn, the raider veteran charges at Piper. At the end of turn 3, the locals have 2 engineer tokens, 1 Quartermaster token, and all 3 pest control tokens. The raiders, however, have 1 engineer token and 1 Quartermaster token. To begin turn 4, Cleansing Rain places 2 searchable tokens on the map. The raider veteran disengages from combat. Piper's quick attack misses. The raider veteran moves away, but then shoots at Piper with their assault rifle. Which misses. I activate Piper, who tries to move, but not before triggering the raider veteran. The raider's quick attack misses, allowing Piper to move freely. She reveals another token, but cannot use expertise this turn. She also uses her Nuka-Cola to heal herself. The raider dog attacks Godfrey twice. The first attack hits and causes 2 damage. while the second attack is blocked by Godfrey's armour. I disengage Godfrey. The dog's quick attack misses. The revealed card is Rigged to Blow. As Godfrey does not have any lockpicking skills, the test is automatically failed, but he is able to move again, avoiding the explosion. This also gives the locals their third engineer token. The Raider Psycho moves towards Piper and throws her frag grenade at her. The attack hits and Piper ultimately ends up taking 3 damage. The Scavenger with a pipe pistol charges the nearest raider and attacks with their improvised weapon, but misses. In return, the raider attacks the Scavenger with his improvised weapon. The attack hits, but no damage is done. They attack again and miss. Nick Valentine moves into the market and turns in the pest control side quest. The Raider Scaver moves and shoots the Settler with his pipe pistol, but misses. The Settler then charges the Raider that's already engaged with the Scavenger. She then tries to use her hunting rifle in close combat, but misses. The Raider Outlaw takes their Fury dose and charges Godfrey and attacks them with his machete. With the additional damage caused by the dose of Fury, Godfrey is unable to defend himself and is defeated. As Godfrey was the only local to collect an engineer token, any local can now turn in the mission to the mayor. The Scavenger with the machete moves and interacts with more tokens, a railway rifle and a handwritten note. The note means that the token is moved. He then moves again and reveals another token, but cannot interact with it this turn. Lastly, the final raider moves towards the Mutant Hound and fails their charisma test. The Mutant Hound attacks, leaving the raider stunned. However, the raiders do gain a pest control token. At the end of turn 4, the locals have completed the pest control quest. They also have 3 engineer tokens and 1 quartermaster token. The raiders, however, only have 1 token for each. Turn 5 begins with the event card revealing a lurking fog crawler. The Scavenger with the machete is the unfortunate one. I activate Piper first and use her expertise to interact with the nearest token, gaining a laser musket and a second quartermaster token. She then moves and reveals another token. The Psycho uses her dose of Psycho and charges Piper and attacks her with a tire iron. The attack hits, but causes no damage. I activate Nick Valentine next. He turns in the engineer task before leaving the market. He shoots at the raider outlaw. The shot hits, and the raider fails his armor roll, killing him. I activate the raider, who was stunned last turn. I use a move action to remove the stun, and then move him towards the market. The scavenger with machete moves towards the token that he revealed last turn. After a successful expertise roll, he picks up some squirrel stew, and the locals gain their final token. The raider scaver moves towards some tokens. One is revealed to be a Mile-alert carcass. He chooses not to take the carcass, but the raiders do gain a food storage token. The settler tries shooting the raider in close combat again. The first attack misses, but the second one not only hits, but does 2 damage. In turn, that raider tries to disengage. Both quick attacks from the scavenger and the settler miss. The raider then moves towards the market. The scavenger with a pipe pistol chases after him. The raider dog moves next. They reveal 2 tokens. Under pressure doesn't have much effect on the dog. While snagged means the dog moves slower next turn. However, the raiders now have all 3 engineer tokens. Lastly, the raider veteran doesn't do much of anything to end the turn. At the end of turn 5, the locals have successfully completed the engineer and pest control missions and have all the tokens they need to complete the final Quartermaster mission. On the other hand, the raiders have all 3 engineer tokens, 2 pest control tokens and 1 Quartermaster token. Turn 6 and a supply drop means that a item token is placed near Nick Valentine. The scavenger with a machete moves towards the market. The raider scaver reveals a mite swarm. They pass their endurance test and move towards the market. The raiders now have all 3 pest control tokens. The settler fires at the nearest raider. Their first shot hits and the raider takes 2 damage. However, their second shot misses. The raider psycho continues to attack Piper. The first attack hits, and Piper takes 1 damage. The second attack, however, misses. The other scavenger moves out of the market and shoots at the nearest raider. But the shot misses. The other raider leaves the market and shoots at the scavenger with a machete. The shot hits, and deals enough damage to kill the scavenger. Like with Godfrey earlier, now any local can turn in the Quartermaster mission. I activate Piper next. She decides to shoot the Psycho in melee with a 10-minute pistol. Between both attacks, they do enough damage to defeat the Psycho. In turn, the Raider veteran charges Piper and attacks her with a sledgehammer. This also does enough damage, and Piper is defeated. However, I activate Nick Valentine next, who moves close to the mayor, which means I can then turn in the Quartermaster mission, which ends the game there. The game ends on turn 6, with the locals having scored all 3 of their missions, whilst the raiders failed to turn in 1. And that ends Uncivil Service. The game could have easily turned into a draw, but it's nice to win after the first episode's crushing defeat. The mayor ultimately gave the plans to the locals, but passed on a message to the raiders about rumours of a Nuka-Cola recipe book hidden in an abandoned mine. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Fallout Wasteland Warfare. I hope to make videos a bit more frequently than once a month. We'll see how things go. Keep an eye on my Instagram, the link's below, for updates. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Take care.